Whew. Hello and good evening. There's been, let's see, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. It's almost, I guess, 6 months since the shared value visa has passed. It came out in September of 2024. And well, if you can hear me, good day and welcome. We're going to be doing another live today. I'm going to be giving you stories about the shared valued visa. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, please let me know where you're watching from. Thank you so much, Sergey, for subscribing. Thanks everybody who supports. So listen, guys, the shared valued visa to me really never made sense in the beginning because I said I don't like ideological visas. Ideologies change all the time, and I simply did not trust something that was based off a way of thinking. Put it this way, today I can like chocolate ice cream, but I can eat chocolate ice cream so much that I end up hating it. And so my thinking of chocolate ice cream can change. Life is the same. Ideological things, not only you can change, but the government can change. We really don't know what's going on. So today I'm going to be talking about families that have moved to Russia for ideological reasons. I'm going to be talking about what the visa was, how to even go through the process. Going to talk about the countries, but I'm going to also talk about the best reason why you should get the shared value. I'm going to give you the best reason why you should do it, as opposed to going through all of the paperwork for other things, right? So if you're just tuning in, if you're just logging in, please let us know where you're watching from. Simon Humphrey, welcome to the channel, my friend. So I'm going to start off this show by telling you guys, I'm going to read an article from the Consulate General Federation. So this is going to be what the Australians put out on their website, okay? And this is going to be really easy to find. You just look up shared valued visa and you can find this really simple. Common private visa. Every country has different names for it. It's the shared values in the parentheses there. So I'm going to read this for you guys, and keep in mind, this came out in September of 2024. So like I said, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. It's been 6 months, half a year. Let's see what's changed in Russia. In accordance with paragraph 4 of the decree of the President of the Russian Federation dated, I think that was September 19, 2024, number 702. That is the code name for this visa, 702. On the provision of humanitarian support to persons sharing traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. So this part right here is something that really confuses me, guys. This part here where it's talking about people who share traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. So they're saying Russian spiritual and moral values. But if you've never been to Russia, you don't know what a Russian spiritual or moral value is. Okay, just to be fair, this is why this shared values thing is a little bit interesting. You can maybe agree with the Russians are doing, but you don't really know what the Russian values are. A conservative in the United States is not a conservative in Russia. A conservative in Australia is not the same as a conservative in Russia. Russian conservatives are way different than every other conservative in the world. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to continue on with the article. So, the persons mentioned in paragraph 1 of the decree may be issued a single entry ordinary private visa. Purpose of travel private for a period up to 3 months. So this visa is something that the Russian government made so that when you get the visa, you should fly to Russia within those 3 months. You should not arrive to Russia later than the 3 months. A lot of you guys have been talking about, well, can I get the shared values, but I'm going in 2026? No, you cannot. That's not how it works. The shared valued visa is for the people who are trying to get to Russia today. Okay? If you're just joining in, guys, let me know what's going on. If there's a news like that, I should probably look it up. This is breaking news. Apparently, there was an attempt on the president's life. Let's look for information. Sorry. I know this live was supposed to be about the shared values, but this is breaking news, and this is really important. Let's see. Bear with me. Okay. All right, let's see here. We're gonna read this. It says, "Hello, brother. Welcome. One of Vladimir Putin's limousines exploded and caught fire in Moscow as the You know, this is what I don't get. It says, as the tyrant orders sewers to be searched and the pat down of his guards." So if you want to look it up, guys, yes, this is breaking news. Apparently there was an explosion in one of President Vladimir Putin's cars, and he wasn't hurt because there's nothing that's saying that he was hurt, but there was an attempt. If his car's being targeted, then he's definitely, this is not a good thing. No, but yes, the news is out there. This is from The Sun 3 hours ago. Let's see here. This was published 3 hours ago by The Sun. I don't know who attempted to take his life, but this is breaking news. And if it's real, this is really sad because it could have gone through, it could have worked, but I'm just going to say that it didn't succeed, guys. Thank you for sharing the news with us. We looked into it. As you can see here, our stream is supposed to be about the shared values, but we do report on breaking news like that. Whoever it was is going to pay. It's going to be hell's fire raining down on them. That's just how it works. You know, you don't go after a leader of a country like that. There's been a lot of crimes where, welcome, Mr. Just. Thank you for subscribing. There's been many, how would I say it? There's a lot of crimes that Ukraine has done versus military people and the Russian Federation, and they have a history of doing it, and this is pretty bad. Well, we don't know how old it is, but we know that The Sun published it 3 hours ago. We'll let the news flood in and we'll move on. Today's live, we're going to be talking about the shared values. All right, guys? We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated on that. So we were showing you guys and explaining to you the shared values, okay? The shared values visa. Can everybody read this? Is the screen all right? Can you read this? I'm going to read it out loud. I'm going to continue reading what the shared valued visa was. Remember, if you're thinking about coming to Russia and you are probably looking for something new, Russia is actually looking for migrants from the West, or else it would have not done this. Now I'm going to continue reading. I'm almost done, and it's going to explain to you what it is. The said visa are issued for entry into the Russian Federation for the purpose of subsequent, oh my God, I can't read that word. Subsequently, oh my Jesus, I haven't used English in a long time. Subsequently, applying to the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Russia with an application for a temporary residency permit without taking into account the quota approved by the government of the Russian Federation and without submitting a document confirming proficiency in the Russian language, knowledge of Russian history, and the fundamentals of its legislation. So, guys, the bottom line is this visa made it easier for anybody who wanted to come to Russia. We know that the language was a big barrier for a lot of people, right? Well, this visa was made so that Westerners could immigrate into Russia and they could do it without having to worry about the language, without having to worry about the law, history, and the legislation, okay? Because when you come to Russia, you need to know those three things so that you can be somebody who's going to integrate into society. Now, if you guys would please answer in the poll, I'm going to get a question going for you guys. Did you know about the shared valued visa, okay? That's going to be the poll. Did you know about the shared values visa? Go ahead and answer it. It's it's on the screen there for you guys to answer, right? Because if you didn't know, then this is going to be a very good video for you to watch. If you're thinking about moving to Russia, if you're not from the United States, the United States has a very good visa and it makes it easy for you to travel to Russia. But we're going to look at the other countries that qualify for the shared valued visa, okay? So, Mr. Sharktooth, welcome to the channel. Let's see here. Now, on your screen, on the purple here on top, you're going to be able to see the countries, and I'm going to read them out for you. If you're from any of these countries, excluding the United States, the shared valued visa is good for you, okay? The shared valued visa is the best visa for you if you're not American, because you have no other choice. If you're from these countries that I'm going to read, your visa to visit Russia is very short, 1 month to 3 months at most. The Americans, we can stay up to 6 months in Russian Federation. So I'm going to read for you I'm going to read to you the countries that are on this list. So we have Australia. This is a really good country to come to Russia from. Austria, Albania, Andorra, the Bahamas, Belgium, Bulgaria, Great Britain, and this is going to include the British Crown. There's going to be a lot of overseas territories that depend on the British Crown. Germany, Greece, Denmark, Ireland, Iceland, Spain, Italy, Canada, Cyprus, Latvia, Lithuania, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Malta, Micronesia, Monaco, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Republic of Korea, Romania, San Marino, North Macedonia, Singapore, Slovenia, the United States, Taiwan, Ukraine, Finland, France, Croatia, Montenegro, Czech Republic, Switzerland, Sweden, Estonia, and Japan. Okay, so if your country is on this list, write what country you're watching from. If your country, you can look at the screen. If you see your country, write in the chat what country you're watching from, okay? ¿Qué onda, loco? Hey, bro, would it be easy to find a job, though? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into why, if you get this visa, you can be working faster than you would if you didn't have the visa. Because if you get a business visa or a working visa, you have to find a job first, but to do that, you have to come visit Russia, then you have to leave Russia. But if you come under the shared values, you can stay here and find a job. Okay, if you heard about it, but you don't know the qualifications, I can tell you right now on this live. So stay with us during this live, and we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into what the shared valued visa is, all right? So we're going to continue reading. All right, So let's see, to avoid complications. Okay, this is a bunch of stuff that we don't need. Here we go. This is what the important part here, okay? Check this out, guys. I'm going to read this to you because this is going to be a piece of the information that you're going to need to know. So when you get to Russia, you're going to have a background check, right? You're going to have a background check. They need a background check of you so that when it goes to the government, they know that you haven't committed any crimes. This background check and your passport, these two things will have to be translated into Russian and apostilled in Russia. The majority of the work is done in Russia, like the medical check, all the paperwork that goes through the government, all the translation and the seals of apostilled, all of that goes and happens in Russia. The most important thing that you need to bring from your home country is a background check, a criminal background check. And I say it over and over again because a lot of people come to Russia and then they want to do the shared values, but they have to wait because they don't have the background check. All right, so we have people watching from Australia, nice, America, the United States. I'm from Peru. Do I apply? No, if you're from Peru, you have to do it a different way. I suggest you come from Peru on a visa for tourism, and then you can apply for something else. Maybe come to school here. Semper Fi, my brother. Listen, there's a lot of students from Peru in cities like Tumen, Nizhny Novgorod. A lot of South Americans are living in Russia under a student visa. Si quieres venir a Rusia, ven a estudiar como estudiante y después puedes agarrar residencia. Después de terminar la escuela, tú puedes agarrar la residencia o encontrar trabajo. Para los de Sudamérica, lo mejor es agarrar una beca para ir a la escuela o pagar a ir a una escuela aquí en Rusia. Hello, Nick. Nice. The Netherlands is in the chat. So the background check is a generic background check from your country. Any major felony is probably going to get you denied. Like the SA charges are not good. So if you're a SA offender, do not apply. Yes, so background check here in Southern Carolina, we get those from South Carolina Law Enforcement Division SLED. Is that the same thing? Yes, that is the same thing. So everybody is going to get different background checks depending on what state you're in, depending on what city, what country you're from. But the most important thing is it has to be done by a law enforcement organization that is apostilled by your country. It has to be a legitimate law enforcement. DUIs are okay. I've seen many people get visas under DUIs. Hello. Good morning from San Francisco. Beardy, my brother, tuning in. Yes, you can farm in Siberia. Actually, there's a lot of land here, and I'm going to start my garden very, very soon. Guys, if you're watching, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And if you're a member and you're enjoying lives that are happening every week, please do consider spamming the Putin loves emoji. It is the emoji with double thumbs up by the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. Put those in the chat if you enjoy these live streams. I'm trying my best to stay consistent. I've been doing a live every Friday and every Sunday morning so far. So we're keeping it up. If you're a member, double thumbs up, please. So, we can talk about farming a little bit after, okay? Please, but just know that for farming and with animals, you're gonna need extra paperwork, okay? If you have a house that is a private owned land, you can farm and you can buy a lot of land and put your house on it, and then you can have your own animals. But if you're trying to do mass scale cattle owning, ranching, you're gonna have to do paperwork for that, brother. I hope that answers your question. Yuan Farbax, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. All right, guys, let's continue on with this. Remember, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a map here. I did this on the last live that we were in. I'm gonna show you guys a map and pay attention, okay? Because this is the world map. You see, this is the world map that we're looking at. I'm going to highlight every country that is on the shared visa, okay? The shared values visa. After we're done highlighting every country that's on the shared values visa, we're going to talk about what we notice. All right? How am I doing? Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for the support. So we know that America, Canada, this is Russia, so we're just going to leave that in. Ukraine, Spain, France. I heard Japan was on it. Taiwan was on it. The Nordic countries were on it. England was on it. This part of England. Iceland. Okay. So let's see. We have Australia, Austria, Albania. So here we go to Europe. Albania, Austria, Andorra, Belgium and Bulgaria, Belgium, Bulgaria. Right now, what we're doing, guys, is we're locking in the countries that are in the shared values visa, and then I'm going to show you the countries on a map, okay? So it's going to be very, very interesting for you guys to see exactly what is on there, because a lot of people don't understand just how many countries were put on this list. But when we show you and we zoom out, you get to see what the bigger picture is, okay? Because the bigger picture is actually a big power move by the Russian Federation. It is something that was not done by any other country in the world. The Russians really stepped up and did a big major play here. So Finland, France, and Sweden, and Slovenia. Sweden, France. All right, we have Australia. That's Oceania right there. Australia, where are you at? Australia and New Zealand. This is supposed to be in alphabetical order. Why is it not? Oh, there it is. Okay. Bahamas, that's in the Pacific. So it should be here. Bahamas. All right, stay with me, guys. I know it's a little bit boring while I'm doing this, but it's gonna be for a big reason, because you really have to see the map, and you have to see the map when it's all put in. You really will appreciate to see what it looks like. It's a huge power move. Like I said, nobody has done this. Nobody has done something like this. Russia is trying something that could have broken it. It could have made it or broke it, guys. And it took a huge, huge risk. And I think it's going to pay off in the long run. In the beginning, I was skeptical about it, but it's really proving to be a big power move. So we're in Spain, Italy, Canada, Latvia, Lithuania, Liechtenstein. We're almost done. Well, I can show you the map right now. Okay? Look at the map right now. What do you guys notice from the map so far? What do you guys notice from this map? If you guys are watching this, these are the countries that are part of the shared values visa. Like, what do you guys notice from that map? And we're not done filling it up, by the way. We still have to fill it up. But this map really is showing something that a lot of people have been sleeping on. From the very beginning, when even before the list came out, I said, listen, this list might be the unfriendly countries that are unfriendly to Russia, and those are the Western countries. Now, why would you open the door to your enemies? You know, it's a huge slap in the face. You know, Russia really, it's like it would be like the United States opening the doors for, I mean, okay, that's a bad example. We all know the United States has horrible borders. All right, let me just use another country that's not from the West because we know that the West has no border control. But let's just imagine that Japan opened its borders to China and it just allowed China to flood in. You know, because it would be giving its enemies, citizens, the right to come to its country. It's a huge power move. This has never been seen. Usually countries let their enemies in to destroy their country, but it looks like Russia is really exploiting its ability to handle its immigration. When you come to Russia, it is way more regulated than any other country I've ever been. You get visited, you have to be registered. You have to make sure that you leave and never overstay your visa. So this is a huge power move, bringing in a lot of Westerners, who have new ideas, who have some advanced technologies. There's a lot of foreigners working in the IT field. So this was a huge power move. Now let's keep looking at the map here. It is absolutely insane. And I'm leaving the South out because, funny enough, there is nothing here. It's blank. You see that map? It's just blank here. It's blank. If you look at the Southeast Asia, if you look at the Middle East, if you look at Africa, if you look at South America, it is the Northern Hemisphere. It is the closest people to the Russian Federation, and it opened its doors, okay? So if you are coming from these countries, it says 14% of the world Russia opened its borders to, okay? Now let me continue putting the countries on the list because let's see how much, thank you for subscribing, my friend. We're going to continue putting these countries on the list, okay? So we know how many countries Russia opened its doors to. Okay, let's go here. So we have Romania, Switzerland, San Marino, Croatia, Finland. Finland is there. Switzerland, Czech Republic, United States. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, it should be Estonia as well. No, not Estonia. What? That's weird. All the other Baltic countries were... Oh yeah, Estonia's on the list, sorry. So, Estonia... Feels like more countries should be on there. United Kingdom... Okay, I think we have everything. Well, we have the majority, all right? We have the majority. Now, this is taking up... Look at that. This is taking up 16% of the world. 16% of the world can come to Russia. And you know what? I'm going to add Belarus because Belarus can always come to the Russian Federation. So it's 16% of the world can come visit Russia under the new shared values visa. And my Russian is okay, enough for me to go shopping and do whatever I want. So, anyways, I'm going to be showing you guys a story. It's a video from Russian Road here. They interview foreigners, and there's a Scottish man who brought his family. I think he's in Moscow. And I found it interesting because this guy is the embodiment of the shared values. The way he talks, the way he thinks, it's all about the shared values, guys. And so let's take a look here.
And then you live around people with money, and you end up not even knowing who your neighbors are. And anything that steers you away from family, red flags should go off in your head. Woke culture is the worst thing that's happened. You've got people essentially in drag dress, men dressed as women, reading children's stories to young children. And of course the children are innocent in all this. We just knew we want to come to Russia. And then this amazing visa turns up just when we need it. And I call it the non-woke visa, but that's not the name. I think it's just inferred by virtue of the fact that you're applying for this visa that you're not aligned with Western values anymore, and you see some affinity with what's happening in Russia, which I did. And I'm thinking, well, it would be really nice to buy a big piece of land, put a house there, and just big windows. I know it sounds like a fantasy, but thus far, every one of these little fantasies I've made a reality. Hi everyone, my name's Steve Pringle. I was born in Edinburgh in Scotland, lived some time in England, and I moved to Marbella in 2008. So the last 16 years I've been living there. But just recently, I moved my whole family out to Moscow in Russia.
So, I just put the intro, but I wanted to show you there's actual families moving to Russia for ideological reasons. Now, it is not a difficult process, okay? The most important thing you need to know is that it's not a difficult process. It has been 6 months since this visa has come out, and on the Russian Experience, on our Telegram, we have had people come to our Telegram and show up 4 months later in Russia under the shared values visa. Now, if you have any personal questions, join the Russian Experience. That is our Telegram. We can help you out there. When you come to Russia under the shared values, you're going to be allowed to stay in Russia under a temporary residency. This temporary residency is going to last, I think it's 3 years. And when those 3 years are done, you're expected to be able to maybe speak Russian so that you can pass a language test in the future for your permanent residency test. This is not a free giveaway, guys. If you intend to make your life here, you should learn the language within those 3 years and move on to a permanent residency. Now, the Russian Federation has made it so easy that I'm worried. You know, I've been living in Russia for 3 years and I haven't given the attention to the language. I'll be humble and I'll be non-hypocritical and I'll admit I don't speak good Russian. Welcome to the memberships, my brother. Remember, when somebody becomes a member, if you are a member yourself, spam the Giga Chat for them, please. We have the Giga Chat. Every new member gets the Giga Chat emote, the emoji. Yes, so listen, guys. It is not a joke. If you want to come to the Russian Federation and get your residency, take it serious. This is why I'm not applying for residency yet, because I'm incompetent, okay? You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be truthful and not waste this opportunity that Russia has given out. It can be taken away at any moment. It has been in exercise for 6 months, and it has no signs of it being pulled out yet. It's been perfected by the people inside of Russia. The one thing that I see as a downfall is that it is a little expensive sometimes because some lawyers do have incredible fees. So I am going to be doing, through the Russian experience, hooking you guys up with translators. The majority of the work for the shared values visa is translating paperwork, going to offices to get paperwork translated, or talking with officials who don't speak English. So believe me, if you're looking into doing the shared values visa, do not hire a lawyer right away. You can do without for the first steps for sure with a translator by getting your paperwork translated and apostilled, by taking you to the right offices to figure out where you need to submit your paperwork. So, thank you so much for supporting. I'm 42 years old. No way I can learn Russian in 3 years, especially being from South Carolina. This is why I'm telling you guys, if you are American, do not apply for the shared values visa. If you're American, there's a hack. You can come to Russia and live here for 3 years and renew your visa. You can buy property under a tourist visa anyways. We just had one of my subscribers buy an apartment in my town under a tourist visa. If you are an American, the best thing for you is live in Russia as a tourist, enjoy Russia, have a property, and come as a tourist and enjoy a summer, buy a summer home, or travel in Russia. You know, as an American, you can really use the visa that Russia has given us. 3 years, I leave for 1 day and I come back. Every 6 months, I take a vacation out of Russia and I come back. For some, it can seem like it's a big hassle, but it is not. Thank you, Pavel, for subscribing, my friend. Remember, if you're not subscribed, guys, subscribe. You get to ride in on a bear with Vladimir Putin. Okay, what kind of felony? So, yes, you can live here for 3 years, Chris. Join the Russian experience, my friend. Join our Telegram. We help people book tickets. We help people get from the airport to their hotels. We have translators in Moscow that are much cheaper than these organizations in Moscow who charge big money for tourists to do simple tasks. If you're looking for visiting Moscow and you're scared, don't know how to get to places, we have people that can pick you up from the airport, take you to your hotel, open a bank account for you, and connect your cell phone. All of these things you're going to need when you come to Russia. So Josue Sosa asks, do you know any teachers who can attest to what it's like? What the test is like? I'm not sure what you mean. But look, what kind of felonies are you talking about, guys? You can come to Russia if you have a DUI. You can come to Russia if you have minor offenses. Russia is not looking for people who have committed minor offenses. If you SA'd children, if you've killed, if you've manslaughter, these things are questionable, all right? I'm being honest with you. Being a teacher in the Russian Federation, yeah, I know lots of teachers. Teaching right now is still booming because we still have very few foreigners. Teaching is an amazing job right now in the Russian Federation. Independent teachers can win a lot of money. I was teaching English for a long time, and it was paying my rent. I am an American. I have a 3 years visa. Can I stay more than 6 months? You have to leave for a day and come back. You can stay for 180 days or 6 months, and you book a ticket out and you leave for an hour and you can come back. You can't stay the 3 years continuously, guys. You have to leave after 6 months. But if you're American, you have the best visa possible. The shared values should only be used by every other country on that list. Yes, you have to get out before the 6 months. When you come to Russia, you get a migration card. The last day on your migration card, that is the last day you can legally stay in Russia. The last day, 1 minute into the next day on your migration card, and you're illegally in Russia, and you will be deported if you commit too many of these offenses. Do not overstay your visa in Russia. Can you open up a bank account without purchasing any property? Yes. You can open up a bank account in Russia without owning anything in Russia. Really good question. Yes. Your German wife can stay, I believe, up to 90 days, I believe. She might be able to stay 90 days, but the Europeans have electronic visas and you can do it online. You can join the Telegram. We can help you out, Chris. Go ahead and join the Telegram. There's a lot of information. Let me link you guys to our Telegram. I'm going to put and pin our Telegram here. I suggest everybody who wants to have more information, if you're coming to Russia, if you're coming to Moscow in the next from now and up until the next 6 months, we can pick you up at the airport. Now, 112 people have voted on whether they knew the shared valued visa. It's almost 50-50, guys. 57% knew about it and 42% did not. Remember, if you're not subscribed, look at how cute it looks when you ride in on a bear. Right, so it is pinned. So if I leave, I can come right back. Yes, if you leave, you can come right back. So I can stay all year plus 1 day going out. Yes, you can. You can live 1 year in Russia if you leave after 6 months. I've lived in Russia for 3 years, guys, on a tourist visa. I'm telling you, if you're an American, do not get the shared values visa first. Come as a tourist. If you like it and you want to work in Russia, then go for the shared value, and you don't have to leave Russia after you're here. Okay, this is why I'm telling you guys, if you're American, do not get the shared values. Come as a tourist. We'll pick you up in Moscow, take you to your hotel, get your bank account, connect your cell phone, and we'll take you out into the city. The most important thing is you need to know is that everything is possible. It used to be very difficult and scary to travel to Russia. That is no more. There's many ways of traveling to Russia. There's many ways that you can do it safely and efficiently. The plane tickets are much easier to find now. When I came to Russia, I had to connect through the whole world. Nice. You're from Los Angeles, bro. Join our Telegram right now, guys. The Russian Experience. It's linked on the chat. Dan, how much house is near the ocean? I want to buy one. So some places are strategic, okay? Hallelujah. Some places are strategic and you cannot buy around some of the coast as a foreigner. But you're usually looking at about 100,000 to 300,000, I would say, in a touristy area. I've made many lives talking about this. Hallelujah. This live is not about it. But for $100,000, you can buy a really good house next to the beach. I live in Lake Baikal area. I live 10 minutes away from the largest lake in the world. Here you can buy an apartment or a house for $50,000 to $100,000. And this place is absolutely gorgeous. So let's continue on with this live here. Do you have a link for a website where I can find a list of countries? Okay, so yes, I do have a link. And I'm going to give you the link now, but you're going to have to click it. This is the link where you can find the list of countries. It's not going to tell you how to apply. It's going to give you the countries, all right? So we're going to read, Martian Kuhn says, here's my strategy as an American. I'd stay there for 5 months and a half and leave for 2 weeks, then come back. Dude, if you do that, it works. I used to do that, Martian. Am I saying your name right? Martian? I used to do that. I used to stay in Russia up to 5 months and go to Mongolia for about 2-3 weeks and come back. But now I just leave for a day because I'm married. You know, it's really hard to be away from my wife, and I don't put her through that anymore. But yes, greetings, brother. Oh, wow. Paul, how are you, brother? Nice to see you on the live. By the way, guys, let's try to get this like count to about 100 likes if possible. We're almost there, and it helps a lot because people get to see the live. There's a lot of people that have been asking about the shared values. How is it working? Has anybody actually done it? And I'm here to tell you, yes, there's really good news. There's been at least 50 cases that I know personally that they've gotten the shared values visa. About 50 cases. This is not a lot. But because I'm not connected with the whole world, I probably am missing a lot. The majority of them are in the Moscow and St. Petersburg area. Very few people are coming into Siberia. So if you want to come, you're going to be one of a kind. You're going to be able to open up a business. And this is going to segue into the next part of the show. Thank you for subscribing, my friend. Thank you for subscribing. I'm going to be sharing with you guys something really important here. Do you guys know the Nomad Capitalist? He is a channel that essentially he talks about the possibilities of being a nomad around the world and working around the world. The Nomad Capitalist has so much information, and he made a video about the shared values visa. And I'm going to be telling you why you should get it if you're not American and you want to work. No, you will not lose your benefits if you move to Russia. The government doesn't care where you live. Your benefits continue to be direct deposited into your bank account. If you're a veteran or if you're on Social Security, your payments do not stop. The government doesn't care where you are living, okay? After watching this great man go to Countryside Acres on YouTube to see the Canadian family living in Russia, they built their own house on a farm. Yeah, so those guys got really lucky. Countryside Acres is in a really sweet spot, like I told you guys, because the media picked up his family. The Russian Federation kind of backed him up a lot. He has a lot of resources, and he's really making his life really good in Russia. And I'm really proud to say that it's possible because you saw a family like his do it. But if you are not rich, if you don't have a ton of family, if you don't want your life in the public eye, if you're not backed up by the Russian government, you could still make a life in the Russian Federation with the shared values visa. I know many people, like I said, who have done it. We don't know about them because they're not on the YouTube, but just know that they're out there. They're making their life. They're opening small businesses. As a Westerner, we know a little bit more of what's trending. We are a little bit ahead of Russia, depending on where you're landing. I'll give you an example. There's many things that exist in Moscow that don't exist in Irkutsk Oblast. There's many things that exist in Los Angeles, California that don't exist in Moscow. And I'm talking about new trendy things that Russians catch on from the United States. America is still a cultural boom against the world. Just understand what I'm saying. So if you're coming from a Western country and you know a little bit of IT or you know some technology that might sell some products, you can do it inside of Russia. So Unfair Life says, if I come to Russia on a tourist visa and there's a way to convert it to a work visa, no, you cannot. You cannot change a visa inside of Russia. If you're already a tourist visa, you cannot get a work visa. The only thing you can get is a residency, temporary residency, shared values visa. If you're already in Russia and you're from one of those countries, you can apply once you're inside of Russia already. You cannot come to Russia as a tourist and then apply for a business visa. This is impossible. Okay, guys, let's. I'm gonna take some questions from the audience here. Okay, please do remember, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and if you're not hit like, we're almost at 100. We're almost at 100 likes. So hit the like button and support a small channel on YouTube. We're gonna be talking about the shared values visa tonight. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is a very important topic. A lot of people around the world have been asking, how can I move to Russia? Well, Russia made it easier than ever for you to move here, okay? If you don't know, now you know. There's an easy way for you to come to Russia. And we are going to be looking at the nomad capitalist. We're going to see why he thinks this visa is good. We wanted to get the truth and we're getting it. Good to know. Yes, so this channel only does the truth. I'm a very bad liar because first my mom would hit me and then I joined the Marine Corps and we don't cheat, lie, or steal. Okay, let's see here. I'll get to your questions after I do this next segment, okay, guys? I will do more. I'll answer more questions for you after this next segment. Please pay attention because this is going to be very important. If you want to make money inside of Russia, this is very important.
If you're conservative and tired of so-called woke policies, then one country wants to welcome you. There's a new residence permit available if you agree to certain anti-woke policies. I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm also going to tell you why there's more to this than may meet the eye. This is going to be a little controversial. Russia is rolling out its new so-called anti-woke residence permit. Our own Nomad Capitalist R&D team alerted me to this recently. You've been seeing it perhaps in some of the conservative news. Russia has officially launched what is called the Shared Values Visa. Obviously, Russia is a very controversial country these days. There are people who would never want to move there. This isn't my opinion, whether you should move there, but let's talk about what this Shared Values Visa is about. You make up your own mind. Here are the broader points, as full details are not yet available. Point 1, the visa is intended for Westerners who want to escape so-called woke culture and the loss of traditional values in the West. So you see a lot of people in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, all over the what we call legacy brand Western countries. You're paying high tax, and they're kind of like running off of fumes, right? Hey, we did something great in 1948, and why don't you still appreciate that? And so a lot of people in those countries are saying, I don't recognize my country anymore. And they come to people like Nomad Capitalists for help. Where can I go where the policies are a bit more conservative? The schools match my values, or I can homeschool my kids without being bothered and harassed. Where can I go? The kind of place I want to live. So I'm going to come back to why I think there's actually a lot of places like that in a moment, but that's what the Shared Values Visa is about. Point 2. Those requesting the visa are not required to learn the Russian language or pass any kind of Russian history test. What Russia has done back when we would research it before the war is they did have some requirements for like permanent residence, for example. You would need to learn Russian. Even the golden visa in Russia has some relatively unique requirements. Oftentimes, you'll get a golden visa in Portugal, for example, or historically in Spain or other countries that would actually grant citizenship to golden visa investors, passive investors who may not move there, but they made investments. And the deal was, hey, you can move here. You don't have to learn the language, but if you want to get citizenship in the future, you should learn the language. Russia had sometimes put this in the beginning. Hey, in order to get the residence permit, you have to speak Russian. And so this visa exempts that because ostensibly most people coming from Western countries do not speak Russian. Point 3, there's a possible path to citizenship for certain immigrants. We're waiting on details of that. That's something I wouldn't want to do. You know, a lot of countries in Asia, for example, they don't really grant citizenship. They're great at granting residence permits. So you look at countries in the Gulf, for example, or countries in most of Southeast Asia. You can live there, or East Asia too. You can live there maybe forever. But they're really stingy with granting citizenship. They don't do that. Russia does grant citizenship. They had a program that was as fast as 3 years before. And it's a passport that I really don't think I'd want right now, because if you go to a lot of banks, if you go to set up a trust, if you do any number of things around the world where you're involving a Western bank or a Western trust company or a Western business, you're going to have a problem. And so I think it'll be important just to study the impact of even being a resident in a country like that, and what, if any, impact that will have on, hey, when I go to open a bank account somewhere, what if I live in Russia and I become a tax resident? That's probably not the ideal thing. So I think that one of the things you're going to have to think about if this Shared Values Visa is for you is you are making kind of a commitment. It kind of has the feeling to me of back in the 90s, my parents debated leaving the United States, and one of the places they talked about was New Zealand. And the idea was not what we talk about at Nomad Capitalist now, where you have your bank account in Singapore and you live in Malaysia, but you also spend your summers somewhere else in Europe where you have the golden visa, you're working towards citizenship, and your company's set up over here, and that's tax friendly, and your employees are over here. There wasn't really talk back in the 90s of that kind of distribution. It was just, hey, we're moving from the US and we're moving it all lock, stock, and barrel to New Zealand. And I kind of think there's going to be some elements of that for someone who goes after the shared values visa, because a lot of the Western countries just aren't going to be really interested in dealing with someone who has certain ties to Russia. Now,
this is one thing that I do mention when I'm talking about the shared values visa. When you do apply to it, you have to sign saying, I do not agree with my country's blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a section that you have to sign. Now, I don't know if that could be used against you in the future. Everybody who applies for the shared values visa signs on the dotted line saying, my country is doing some crazy stuff I don't agree with, then I'm choosing to come to Russia under the shared valued visa. Did you guys know that? For the people who knew about the shared values visa, did you know that you have to sign saying that you don't agree with your government? Let me know, guys. A lot of this kind of information, some of you guys don't know. I don't think anybody's mentioned that besides myself. Other channels never bring up the fact that you have to sign saying, I don't agree with my government. And so if you're American, and for myself, I would never. My government changes its mind like a prostitute changes underwear, guys. Ideologies in America change all the time. This is why I am not going to be doing shared values. I'm here as a tourist, I'm married, and I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'll learn Russian eventually. Now, when I'm telling you guys that my country's ideology changes like a prostitute changes underwear, it's the truth. Every 4 years we vote for a new president, and we vote for new laws, new governors, new senators, and that changes our ideological sphere in our country. So if you're not ready to sign away saying, I don't want to live in my country because of the ideologies, I don't agree with them, so I'm moving to Russia, it can potentially hurt you. This is a disclaimer, and we're going to continue on with the movie. with the video. Now, remember, this is the Nomad Capitalist. I'm going to be putting the full video. You can see it later for the people who come in late, guys. We're going to be putting the video on the description of the video, guys. We're going to watch the video now, but we're going to put his video on the description because it is a really good explanation. He does mention, be careful because this can follow you. And I mention that all the time as well. It's really important to talk about this. So let's go ahead and we're going to continue finishing this video. Pay attention.
Now, a bank, for example, is more likely to ask about your citizenship than about your residences, but tax residence is a big question for any number of banks, brokerages, investments, setting up a company somewhere. I think that could be an issue. So you may be painting yourself into somewhat of a corner if you do this, into where, hey, there's plenty of countries that are still happy to work with Russians, Hong Kong and the UAE and most of the Gulf and South America and all that. Where's the Switzerland in there? Sure, I mean, Dubai, for example, could be a place that is a wealth hub. The other places generally don't open up, bank accounts for non-residents. Where's your company going to be based? I think that you're probably committing to cutting a lot of Western ties over the long run if you take advantage of this. And I think citizenship, were you to get it in the future, right now would be rather toxic. Step 4, the applicant of the shared values visa are excluded from the quotas, which usually limit foreign immigration to Russia. One thing I think a lot of people don't understand about Russia is that it is a rather multicultural country. There's entire parts of Russia, regions that are Muslim regions, for example. You have plenty of immigration from Central Asia, so Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, etc. And I suppose, unfortunately, like any country, a lot of people look down on those people. They look down on the poorer immigrants. But to say that Russia is an entirely Christian, entirely Caucasian country, I think ignores a lot of the details of what Russia actually is. And that speaks to some of these immigration limits which exist. Point 5 is applicants must declare that they share certain political and social views. Here's what they are: being pro-life, strong traditional moral values, prioritizing the spiritual over the material, support for the traditional family structure. So again, very controversial, but you saw, Vladimir Putin at one point saying, as long as I'm in charge, it's one man, one woman in marriage. You make up your own mind about that. And by the way, you know what it says to me? It says there's a lot more nuance to this than people want to believe. And so while the official list of countries whose citizens would be eligible, this has not been released yet, what they're looking at, what we expect is the US, Canada, the UK, most of the European Union is on that list. I'm going to let you make your own decisions in this. I mean, you've seen people like Tucker Carlson go to Russia and say, hey, this is pretty nice. You've seen articles all over the news from various sources saying, hey, Russia, their economy is growing. They've effectively gotten around a lot of the sanctions the West has put on them. That, to me, speaks to the so-called global South and, BRICS and all that coming together. And the Western world does not have the same pull that it did before. Now, do your values say that you want to go and live in Russia? That's up to you. I'm just the messenger here. Unfortunately, we don't shoot messengers anymore. But this is something that you have seen talked about around conservative media in the United States. I saw one source say that this new decree blows the lid off the establishment's agenda, letting freedom-loving folks bypass the usual bureaucratic nonsense like language tests or history exams. It's interesting that a lot of people who are conservative in the United States want to crack down on immigration, want people to assimilate. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but here's one area where, why am I politically homeless? I'm all for helping people go where you're treated best, finding the best options, finding the places that will let you in with, indeed, the least red tape. But to say, hey, we don't want people coming to our country without taking language tests or knowing our history, but we want to go there and not know their language or know about their history, a little weird. If you're going to go somewhere, I do think knowing about the culture, knowing about the history is important. I try and do that in the places where I spend time. One source said Russia is rolling out the red carpet. The Russian news agency said Moscow will provide assistance to any foreigners who want to escape the neoliberal ideals being put forward in their countries and move to Russia, where traditional values reign supreme, according by a new decree signed by President Vladimir Putin. And they basically go on and say, hey, yeah, we're making it easy. You don't have to learn what all the other people have to learn. And so this was initially, I think, brought up by some Italian student that said, our countries are going in the wrong direction. Why don't you, Russia, do something? Now, here's why I think that the Russia piece, it's great marketing. And whether you like it or not, whether you agree with Putin or not, whether you like Russia, I don't know Putin. I don't know. I've never met Putin. But I think that they've jumped on a bandwagon. Just as we've said that the legacy brand countries, where I'm from in the United States, for example, great marketing, right? Everyone sings about the California girls and the export Hollywood movies, and it's like, hey, that's the place to go. It's the name brand. It's the Coca-Cola of countries. Well, there's probably beverages out there that taste better than Coca-Cola, that are healthier for you than Coca-Cola. But people focus on Coca-Cola. You just go and instinctively grab a Coca-Cola because that's what you've been marketed to your entire life. That's the United States. That's the legacy brand countries. And so now Russia, because it's a big country and everyone knows where it is, and it's obviously been, part of geopolitics from go, people know Russia. You know what's interesting? I watch a lot of these spy shows and caper movies and caper shows. And sometimes the villains are Russians. That's like the thing people know. But sometimes they take it to the next level. They're like, they don't know where Albania is, but we'll make it sound kind of shady, Albania, right? Or Serbia. You'll see the Serbians, the Albanians. We've got a lot of Serbians and Albanians who've worked for us over the years. And that's kind of like the next level. I can tell you, President Vucic in Serbia, I would say probably agrees with almost all of this. And people in Serbia agree with this. We just filmed Live Like a King in Belgrade recently. And I was talking to some of the people there. I will tell you, the people in Belgrade probably agree with a lot of this. They want to... Russia's coming out and they're getting their name on the leaderboard. They're going to get some people who want to go there. And again, for some people, that might be the option. I think you want to take a hard look at what that's going to mean for the rest of your life, given the West's perspective on Russia right now. And do you want to totally abandon the West? I'll tell you what, we get a lot of clients who come to us and they say, I'm sick of the West. It's going the wrong direction. Hey, I'm with you, brother. They don't want to give up on it. The idea of giving up U.S. citizenship or giving up another Western citizenship, which I...
All right. So we saw this guy talk about it, and he makes a lot of good points. But the last thing he said, do you want to give up on the West? Now, in my humble opinion, I believe that everybody who wants to come as a shared values should come first as a tourist. Okay, Russia's not the answer to your problems. There's many problems in Russia. And I've always said Russia, we play on, if Russia was a video game and you can choose difficulties, this would be expert level mode, okay? This would be expert level mode. If you're being destroyed back home and you are losing against society in your home country, you might be defeated in Russia because this server is not for the beginners. This is not for professionals. This is not for mediocres. This is for expert players only. So come as a tourist, especially if you're from the United States. I told you, you can come to Russia for 3 years. You don't have to worry about anything. Now, we're going to be looking at the questions on the chat. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them. But I have one question for you guys. Anybody who's watching, is anybody who's watching interested in coming to Russia in the next 6 months? Or then between now and the next 6 months? Is anybody already have plans on coming to Russia? You guys need to join the Telegram and stay in contact because the money movement to Russia, the opening of a bank account, connecting your cell phone, we can help you with all of that. A lot of you guys wonder, how can I bring money into Russia? Well, you have to get to Russia first to bring money into Russia. Okay, and these are the type of things that we're trying to teach in our Telegram. The best way to do it still is bring about $5,000 to $10,000 in cash, and you can survive off the rest. Ibre says, how long can I stay when I come from the Netherlands? Okay, let's do a simple search, guys. Let's do a simple search. How long can a Dutch citizen stay in Russia? So there you go. I did a simple search on YouTube. It says you can stay up to 30 days. But Ibre, the good thing is that you can do an electronic visa, okay? If you're a Netherlander, bist du eine Nederlander oder you're from the Netherlands, so you can renew your visa on the website electronically. You can leave for a day. If it gets approved, you can come right back. It's the same way. My friend is from Austria. He renewed his visa while he was still in Russia. He left and he could have came back. So a lot of you guys are really lucky because you have electronic visas, and Americans are lucky because they can do their visas for 6 months at a time and it lasts for 3 years. Good evening from Great Britain. Just joined, catching up on 2 times. Liked your opening thoughts. Hey, thank you so much, my friend, for joining us. Remember, if you are not subscribed, you can subscribe to our channel and you can ride in on a bear. Like this. And it's freaking awesome. We're gonna make that a little bigger. Yes. So I just got here last night. You just got to Russia last night? Okay, nice. If you need any help, Spoonertune, if you need any help and you are in, yeah, I know it's German, but I don't speak Nederlander. Ik houd van u. Ik houd van u. I think that's I love you, maybe? I don't know. I don't speak Dutch. I can speak some German, but the Dutch is a really broken German language. Spooner, if you are already in Russia, man, join our Telegram, The Russian Experience. If you need any help opening a bank account, getting a SIM card for your phone, if you need any help translating things, we have services in the Moscow region. This goes to anybody. I got tired of seeing people pay an arm and a leg to these companies that are established in Moscow, and I decided to do something about it. So there is a lot of services that people charge so much. All you need is a translator, essentially. So this question that Ibra asked earlier, he asked, how long can you stay in the Russia if you're coming from the Netherlands? It is 30 days, but you can apply on the internet with an electronic visa. Okay, not a problem, guys, not a problem. So, hello to Galicia, Spain. Listen, guys, go ahead and get some questions out of the way. We went over the shared values visa early in this video, guys. If you're just joining, you can look back on it when you have the time. Has your visa status burdened you in any way? No, not at all. My tourist visa has never stopped me. In fact, I think it's a superior visa than the shared values. If you're not working, if you don't need to work inside of Russia, like I'm digitally doing the YouTube, I don't need to work inside of Russia, then I don't need a shared values visa. I don't need a work visa. I'm living very good. I don't want to sign away saying that I don't believe in my country. I already told you guys, my country's ideology changes so much that I can't sign on the dotted line saying I don't agree with it, because I agree with it right now. My country now wants to protect its borders. My country right now is making sure that there's only 2 genders and people are being safe from the crazy propaganda. Okay, my country's in a better row than it was before. So I can't say I disagree with my country. Okay, nice. Spooner, join our Telegram. If you have nobody who can help you in Russian, if you don't know where to go, join our Telegram and I can have somebody take you to the bank and get all that stuff ready for you. Because if you open up a bank account, you need to get a SIM card and connect your cell phone. You need to have your passport translated, okay? Think about that, Spooner. You need to have a lot of things translated. So join the Russian Experience and write to me on the general chat. The Russian Experience is tagged on the chat. Nice. No plans yet, but somewhat drooling over the thought and idea of moving there, Matthew says. Nice. Okay, let's see. So, guys, ask me any more questions, and we're going to be waiting to get into this new segment. If you're watching from a place where you can subscribe, just remember to subscribe, guys. Yes. Yeah, I'm not involved anymore in the politics of the United States. This is why shared values is not for me. Look, guys, I am married. Okay? I am married. Eventually, I can get residency through marriage and having kids. So I am thinking about retiring there. I have found a Russian lady. She's one of the original old believers who resettled here. Nice, man. If you want to retire here, I just made a video about retiring in Russia. So this fits perfectly with your ideas, man. Nice. Is yours capable? All right. I don't know what the heck you guys are talking about, Yars, but if nobody has any more questions, we can go into the next segment. We had somebody told us that there was an attempt. Let's see, research. There was an attempt on, supposedly an attempt on President Vladimir Putin's limousine. But I'm not seeing anything else, guys. So we're not gonna look into that any further tonight. Can citizens own firearms in Russia? Yes, they can. So if you want to own a firearm in Russia, you need to be a citizen. You cannot get it while being a resident. But you're going to have to own one type of gun first, and then you're going to be able to own another type of gun. Have I adjusted my taste to Russian cuisine? No. I just buy a bunch of hot sauce and I put it on all the food. I eat only if it's spicy. I don't really Then Lubluish Rasiu, da, ya Lublu Rasiu. Ya Lublu Rasiu. I love Russia. She's asking, or he's asking, hey Dan, do you love Russia? You see, I can read a little bit of Russian. I can understand what they're trying to say. Thanks to whoever gifted me the sub. Yeah, man, you got gifted a sub. probably in another live. Спасибо. Пожалуйста. Любитель. I don't know. Anyways, for the people who don't speak English, I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm sorry that I stream in English because I'm not fluent in Russian. So praying for President Putin, God's protection. He prayed for Donald Trump when he was shot. It was a noble thing to do. God bless. Yeah, we don't know what's going on. There's not a lot of news reporting on this, guys. I checked the news right now. Nothing has been said ever since someone else came in earlier. And we'll see what happens. Okay. So nobody has any more questions. Wow, you guys are a little bit quiet this evening. Usually you guys got a bunch of questions. I think I've answered every question. I've been doing so many lives that there's no more questions left. That's hilarious. All right. Sorry, you're just tuning in. Can you recap what you went over the broadcast? Yeah, sure. I can recap. I can do a quick recap. Listen, we went over the shared values visa. We went over what countries are allowed to come to Russia under the shared values visa. The shared values visa is a private visa that you get in your home country. It lasts 3 months. Within those 3 months, you have to fly to Russia, and then you start the process of getting residency. This residency is an easy residency that you don't need to learn the language. When you come to Russia, you need to bring your, what is it called? You need to bring background check, sorry. You need to bring a background check, and you need to make sure that you have every paperwork ready because it has to be translated in the Russian Federation and apostilled in Russia. All of your documents in America need to be apostilled with a seal saying this is a government paper. Christo C, we love you. Thank you so much for the donation. That's cute. That's a nice one. Thank you so much. How would I go about starting a business in Russia? Can you purchase residential land and put it in small business? Okay, so you can start a business if you are here under a shared values visa or if you are working on a business visa. Strings, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Let's see. Crystal. Oh, Nick, thank you, brother. Okay, do you know anything about private visa? Is it also 3-year visa? I'm engaged to a Russian citizen and they suggested that visa. Crystal, do not get that visa. Do not get that visa. Okay, listen. Nick, by the way, thank you so much for the donation. You're both Chads. I mean, I wouldn't, Crystal, before, what do you call the equivalent of a giga Chad for a woman? Anyway, Crystal's a giga Chad. Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much. So this is a really good question and something that nobody talks about. Crystal, listen to what I'm going to tell you right now. The tourist visa is the same as a private visa. The tourist visa, when you come into Russia, it's the same as a private visa. When you come into Russia with the private visa and a tourist visa, when you use it the first time, that's what it is. It's just to get you into Russia. It doesn't mean anything. They are the same thing. The reason why I say you should get a tourist visa is because it ties you less into what you want to do in Russia, right? Because if you put a private visa, it's more likely to be flagged. What is the reason? What is going on? Can you prove this? If you're a tourist, you can go anywhere in Russia. They understand that you're going to be moving around. A private visa kind of ties you to one reason in a way. I hope that makes sense. The tourist visa is the same as a private visa, but you don't want that private to be a reason why it ties you to something. Now, if you are engaged, if you're planning on getting married, let me see what you said here. Yes, you're engaged, right. So if you're engaged to him, something can go wrong. Maybe the paperwork says you're tied to this. Believe me, get the tourist visa. If you want, you can contact me, Crystal. I'm connected with two companies that do visas in the United States, and they can explain to you further. But if you haven't got to visa yet, trust me, give me 1 day, please, Crystal, write to me on Telegram, and I will forward to you the answer of a professional. This is not going to cost you any money. You can just write to me on Telegram, and I will get it from the horse's mouth for you, okay? I promise. Russian youth and American youth, how do they compare? So Alejandro Muniz is asking, how do American youth and Russian youth compare? I believe that Russian youth is living in the 1990s still. The kids are wild outside in the streets. I'm pretty sure in America there's small towns where they do this, but for the most part in Russia, major cities have little kids running wild. So I think the Russian kids are more independent than American kids. No, tourist visa must not stay in a hotel. The embassy is wrong. I am living in a private home. I'm on a tourist visa. When you register yourself, it becomes the same as a private visa. So don't worry. The embassy is wrong. A lot of the people who work for the Russian government do not understand their own laws, okay? Trust me. Just make sure you contact me, Crystal, and we'll get you sorted out. I promise. So, guys, any more questions? And remember, if you're going to be in Moscow from now up until 6 months, contact me on Telegram if you need help opening up a bank account, getting a SIM card, and any touristy things. We have a translator in town, the cheapest and best way to do it. There you go. Somebody corroborated. You know yourself. If you're a tourist in Russia, you can stay wherever you want. Let's see. Have I missed any questions? Hey, para los paisas de México que están deportando de Estados Unidos, ¿será viable encontrar trabajo allá? Ok, si tú tienes papeles mexicanos y solamente mexicanos, Víctor, no sé si entiendes inglés, pero te lo voy a decir en inglés. Tú me dices si no me entiendes. If you were recently deported from the United States, but you had some sort of green card, or if you had any type of residency, you can apply for the shared visa if you have residency in these countries that I listed. You don't have to be a citizen, by the way. If you have a residency where you can prove that you are a resident of a country, that means you stay in that country up to 180 days a year, you can apply. If you were deported, unfortunately, you cannot apply for the shared values visa. So you would have to do electronic visa and look for work and then come back with a new contract. Do you think towns will be created for Western immigrants? Oh no. This is a horrible idea. Yes, I put hot sauce on pilmini and borscht. I put hot sauce on everything. And if you think it's a sin, I'm sorry. Okay, listen. So there is no French towns and American towns. Those are not scams, but they're like schemes. They are trying to get people residency in Russia by inviting them to buy property and invest. Okay? This is like a pyramid scheme in a way. I'm sorry to say it, but it's like they're enticing people to move to Russia to buy property. A company essentially bought a huge plot of land and they're selling the land off to new foreigners. This is not an immigrant village. This is just reselling property. It's an investment property. Okay? Sorry if I'm bursting some of your guys' bubbles, but that's how it works. It's like if I bought a plot of land for maybe 10 acres and I said, I'm opening up an American village in Siberia. All you have to do is buy this plot of land and you could build your own house. That's what they're doing in the Moscow region. It's not an American village. It's not an immigrant village. It's just a way of reselling property. The best way to migrate to Russia is find your own soul. Find your own Russian soul in your own town. Do not follow the rules of these other people who say, come to this new village that we're opening. Russia is massive. It's the biggest country in the world. Why would you want to leave your country to live next to people from the same country that you left? Russia is massive. I found my soul next to the shores of Lake Baikal. Come and find your own Russian soul. I promise you, Russia has something for everyone. Would you agree that the United States has a lack of community compared to Russia? I would say that it depends on what part of the United States. What part of the United States? Because not all of the United States is the same. Not all of Russia is the same either. Yeah, exactly. The best way to assimilate is be with the Russians. And yes, I add hot sauce to my milk. Okay, guys, more questions. And thanks everybody for thanks to everyone who has supported this channel. And by the way, if you want to see Lake Baikal, I live here. I also do tours here. What do you think about Belarus? Belarus is said to be very beautiful, by the way. Belarus is an extension of Russia. The culture is very similar. The language is similar. I think Belarusians have their own language and a mix of Belarusian and Russian, and they speak only Russian in some places too. Belarus is a beautiful country. It's said to be very clean. Hey, Vaughn. Hello, brother. Nice to see you. It's time to take some water. Hydrate. Let me see. What do I have here? So I'm going to be showing you guys the list of countries again. If you're just joining this, Americans are absolutely welcome in Russia. I'm living proof. You don't have to be in the snow, guys. There is so much region of Russia that has no snow. Well, little to no snow. Here's the list of countries. Nice. Welcome, brother. Thank you for subscribing. Look, I'm going to show you the list of countries, okay, guys? Look at the list of countries. Tell me if you are in a country that is not on the list. Anybody here from a country that's not on the list? This is the list here. And you know what? I thought we had Selovod in the live stream. This shout out to Selovod out there in the Moscow region. A really good friend. I have this campaign cover from the Soviet Union from the Afghanistan war era. Jason Deal, thank you for subscribing, my friend. Yeah, I like the snow. I like the 4 seasons, okay? I love it. I come from a place that didn't have 4 seasons, and I absolutely would not be happy if I had to live in a place that didn't go through all 4 seasons. The American Village Project was a good option before its shared values visa was established last September. Yes, I will agree with that. Spooner. It used to be a good option, but it was a very costly option because you would have to, they made you invest thousands of dollars. So it used to be essentially a golden visa masked behind an investment of buying property in Russia. Okay, that's the last time I'm gonna mention that. But just understand that now that we have the shared values visa, you guys can come, and Spooners hit the nail on the head. This is a better option now because there were no options before. Because when that was put on, it failed miserably. People don't want to move only for ideologies. People want to move because they want a better life economically. And if you're going to charge them thousands to start a new life, you are going to ruin them. Now, you can come to Russia on a shared valued visa or an American on a tourist visa, and you can buy property for $10,000 like I did, $10,000, and I'm slowly building my life here. I bought my plot of land for $10,000 on a tourist visa, and I'm slowly building my life. Russia is still a land of opportunities. All right. You want heat? Go to Banya. Da. Go to the Banya, Nick says. If you want the heat, go to the Banya. By the way, as very, very ancient Siberian, I can say the climate in Siberia is getting warmer. Wow, it is getting warmer. I've lived in Siberia for 3 years. Every year has been warmer. I got here in 2022. Winter was cold. 2022, the winter, I felt negative 35, negative 40 degrees Celsius. And 2023 did not feel negative 40 Celsius. 2024, mild. So we'll see what 2025 has in store for us. I'm American and conservative, and I don't trust Trump. There's all sorts of, like I said, being a conservative is much different in different regions and different times. How do tech jobs in Russia? Tech jobs are very good. I can connect you with IT specialists. I have a friend who is very involved in the tech industry in Russia. If you are into IT and technology, you can have a bright future in Russia. You can get a very fast job. Привет. Добрый вечер. Guten Abend. Guten Abend, Freund. Okay. Is there rum in Russia? Yeah, there's all types of alcohol here, man. Even though you consider Irkutsk home, do you have plans to tour the republics and oblasts? Really good question, Alejandro. I do plan on visiting Buryatia. I will go back to Moscow this year. Guys, my sister's visiting me from the United States. I'm taking my sister to Moscow again. I've only been to Moscow one time as a tourist, and I'm going to be taking my sister to Moscow. So I'm going to be taking her to St. Petersburg, Moscow, and probably the region here near around Irkutsk. What happens after Trump? No one knows. Most likely could be Elon Musk as the United States president. Yeah, right. That guy's from South Africa. Let's not forget, he's not American. Excuse me, guys. Give me 1 second to try to find this new segment that I'm working on. Let's see here. There we go. All right, I'm going to be playing another clip from Russian Roads video. And remember, we're doing this because there's a family, a father from Scotland. His ideology was not in line with the country that he came from, and he used the shared values visa. This is one of the most recent stories in Russia. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Please let me know if you can hear and enjoy the show. Yes, you can publicly drink out here as long as you're not causing a nuisance. People drink all the time.
I went to Ukraine, and every apartment building seemed to have a little kids' play area. And there were so many parks in the city. And when you go to the parks, you would see the full generation of families. So you've got old people with their kids and their kids all walking along, all like enjoying the parks. No, it's probably the worst thing that's happened. Well, actually, recently woke culture is the worst thing that's happened, but this is certainly one of the things where something about us has been lost, and I hope we refind it. I've watched what happens even to my own family with no money, all the friends and all the community around you, and then you start to get money, and then you live around people with money, and you end up not even knowing who your neighbours are, which in Scotland, that would have been the most bizarre thing. Everybody knew everybody, and we all congregated in the middle of the street, and we had barbecues together. But once you keep adding money to things, and people start to build walls, they have to protect it, and they don't trust people around them. And I think the same thing happens with family. you're when you need help, when you realize you're not an island and you need help. I don't want to judge people too much, but what I would say is, looking at the whole picture, we don't care about the wider family as much as I think we should. Anything that steers you away from family, red flags should go off in your head. Absolutely. You know. Is it the same market?
It's the same market.
It's Chinese on the other side.
Yeah, I think it is
Not
here.
this one, right? This one's just the normal one.
Where do we need to
Should we
go?
walk down? I don't know.
Do we need to go inside the market or just here?
I have a very dear friend. He used to work for me, but now we're just good friends. A Russian guy whom visited us many times in Marbella. So he invited me out to Moscow. He was living in Moscow. I took the opportunity. I went and crashed on his couch for 4 or 5 days. Everyone was so helpful. I had no Russian at all. I was received so warmly. It was magic for me. It was just, the whole thing was magic. And it was around the Russian Christmas time. I think it had just happened. So we went ice skating outside in this crazy little city network of ice skating. So that was fun. How did I end up in Russia? Well, so we leave tomorrow morning and we're waiting for 4 cases that haven't arrived. We've been waiting all day for these suitcases, so now we have to go to the shops. We moved to Marbella. I mean, it was a place I knew. That was fine for me as well, Nastya, she didn't enjoy the whole Marbella thing, like right from the start. It was completely uninteresting for her.
If you could become friends with a Russian bear, what name would you give it?
Paddington! I like that.
The things in cities or in towns like Marbella are very convenient, very lovely restaurants, bars, lots of shopping, beautiful things to do, see, buy. But we saw beauty in other places.
Does she say
See you
bye-bye?
on the other side.
I got full custody of my daughter. My daughter wanted to live with us. At that point, we're able to do anything. So we know the thing that we want to do is we want to move away from cities. Are wonderful and they're exciting to experience, but it's absolutely.
I just realized that the part where he talks about the shared values visa is somewhere else. We're gonna look at it after. Let's get some questions out of the way. But you can see this man, I don't know him, I've never spoke to him, but his mentality is, I know what I expect from life, and I know that I'm not getting it where I am. And the shared values visa essentially gave him an opportunity to go to a place where he might enjoy his life, where where life might reach the expectations that he has. This shared values visa opens the door to many of you guys watching. A lot of you guys come and comment and say, hey, I don't like my country anymore. Well, look, here is something that you can try out. Not a lot of countries allow you to do what is it called? A free trial. Russia has opened a free trial for you to try it out. After 3 years, if you don't learn Russian and you don't like it, you don't have to become a resident of Russia. I can't think of another country that gives out free trials. Now, there is the disclaimer where you do have to sign, I don't agree with my country's ideology and how they do their government, but if that can't reach to no one, you have a free trial. Yeah, so I looked up the visa and generous opportunity Russian vendor offers. Yeah, listen, if you're an older person, come as a tourist and enjoy. I've been inviting everyone to Lake Baikal. I don't live in Moscow, but I live in Lake Baikal. I can show you beautiful nature here, and you can just relax for a month and go back to your country. Russia is a beautiful country to enjoy and to really vacation. Do you think applying for the shared values visa are red flags blacklisting your country? No, I don't think so. I honestly don't think that the home country would know that you went on a shared valued visa. I don't think that Russia gives out that information. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Deeper Seeker, if you're American, get a visa, tourist visa. All Americans should be on tourist visas only first. It is the best visa. If you don't know how to get a Russian visa, click the link on top and join our Telegram. I can help you with everything you need to know. We do everything. We're the only Telegram that helps people within a very good timely manner. No other channel, no other Telegram exists except Wild Siberia and the Russian Experience. That is the name of our Telegram. Can people see my comment? Kaylee Smith. Yes, we can see your comment. It's really funny that you ask. 3 months or 3 years? It is 3 years. So the original visa to get to Russia, the visa is 3 months. The residency is 3 years, okay? The visa to come to Russia lasts 3 months. The residency lasts 3 years. Just wanted to make sure that you understand. I'm here in Russia on a 3-year multiple-entry visa. Spooner is doing everything perfect. Spooner is doing everything perfect and the right way. He's coming on a 3-year visa as an American. Nothing beats that. No other country could do what America does when it comes to having a visa for Russia. If I look 38 years old, do I have a chance of finding a wife? Dude, I don't like to talk about that because I have a very bad, like, I don't like, I didn't come to Russia to find a wife, and my wife is older than me and I'm 35, and I know a lot of people, you're 30s. Age gap is not an issue if you find the right woman, but if you want young women and you think that a Russian woman needs saving, then you're wrong. They're going to need you to show that you're a man. Okay, if you have money, maybe they just take your money and leave you. It depends on what you can offer them. Kaylee, if you want, join our Telegram and I can explain to you what it's like. Before I got married, before I was engaged, many young women wanted to be with me, but I'm 35 and I don't want an 18-year-old. I'm 35 and I don't want a 20-year-old, but many women that age were coming after me, even though I'm fat and ugly. But yeah, I don't promote sex tourism or wife tourism to Russia. Unless you really want to try to find a life, come here and experiment. Get your visa first. I can help you book tickets. Come here and maybe you can find someone you like. It's very possible. It's very possible that you can find a woman from ages, I don't know, 25, 23, 25. I think I like that age. Yeah, a lot of old men like young women. I even met a man who was grooming young Russian women in Russia, who was in his late 40s. I met a guy who was in his 70s, and they were grooming Russian women. I'm totally against that, and I don't promote that. I don't listen to Russian music a lot. This is the only song that I listen to in Russian. Deeper Seeker, I missed your question. Here we go. But will authority question me when I return to America for... No, they will not. Well, they won't ask you, like, what were you doing in Russia? Who did you meet? They will do the basic thing. Bro, there's hundreds of thousands of Russian Americans who come back to the United States every day. Russian Americans exist all the time. I'm going to show you guys my favorite song. And then we're going to look at... A lot of you guys know that I like this song. A lot of you guys know that this is my jam. So here we go. You know, these were the first words I learned in Russian. These were the first words I learned in Russian. When I got to Russia, I didn't know at first that this song even existed. I don't even remember how I found it, but I could certainly say "Ты только маме, что я в Афгане не говори." I don't know why, but I can just say that. And if you don't know, this song is about the Afghanistan war. This hat represents the Afghanistan war, and I have huge respect for all military people of veterans, but there's a special place in my heart for the veterans of the Afghanistan war of the Soviet era. I have friends in Russia from this war, and I don't listen to Russian music, but I listen to that song. I've been living in Russia almost 3 years. Joanne says, I'm Canadian and I want to move to Russia. Joanne, come as a tourist first. I'll help you book the tickets. Join our Telegram. You can come here. Didn't you want to go there as a reporter? How's Patrick Lancaster? Yeah, I offered Patrick Lancaster to sweep for landmines for him. Actually, I wrote to him directly and I said, if he needs, because there was an episode where there was landmines and he almost stepped on them. If you don't know, my job used to be looking for landmines, and I said I can take care of you because the Russian guys who were with him didn't have a metal detector. It was unbelievable. So I offered to go and do that. Dan, one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard is "I and My Horse." It's a Russian song. You can find it on YouTube. I'll look it up. I and my horse. There is perch in Lake Baikal. There is perch in Lake Baikal. There's perch and there's shuka in Lake Baikal. Alexander, there is perch. There is okun y shuka in Baikal. But when Baikal freezes, they go to the swamps. But there is perch. I've caught many perch in Lake Baikal, and I've caught some shuka in Lake Baikal. Just so you know. I don't know, Alexander, are you from here? Yes, so the building videos are going to start again when the snow goes away. The snow is going to be here for a little bit longer. The floor still needs to melt. And when it melts, at first, it's very mushy and it's not a good time to start working. We're looking at about 1 more month of hell, and then we're going to start building. But we are going to start our gardening. We are going to start doing a lot of work on the land. What ethnicities do you see in Irkutsk? Irkutsk is a multi-ethnic region because we're so close to Buryatia. We have a lot of people from the Suka Republic. We have some Suk, or what the heck is it called? No, it's let's just say Yakutsk, okay? The people from Yakutsk live here. The people from Buryatia. We have a lot of people from Azerbaijan. We have a lot of people from what is this called? Uzbekistan, Tajikistan. We have even gypsies here. Irkutsk is mixed. Irkutsk is absolutely mixed. Yes, so Joanne, if you want to come and you need any help, just go ahead and contact me. We can help you with many things. The Russian experience, it's pinned on the chat. Yes. Yeah, Alexander, if you are from the area, Alexander, come visit me here in Sludanka. I will show you there's perch in Baikal. Hey, no problem, Joanne. Thank you for the support. If you're watching this, guys, and you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe so you can ride in on the bear. Just like that. Oh, Krasnoyarsk. I'm actually going to go visit Krasnoyarsk maybe this year. Maybe. Maybe this year. I feel like maybe I and my horse is I can probably get flagged if I put it, so I'm not gonna put it, but I'll listen to it in my own time. All right, I will listen to it, I promise. We are coming in on, how long have we been here for? We're coming in almost 2 hours. Guys, I'm gonna be going live again tomorrow. If there's no more questions, I'm going to be signing off in about 10 minutes. I'm going to be doing a live with Anthony. Anthony and I made a video together. It's almost to 100,000 views. And we're going to be doing English and Russian live. I'm going to be on his channel. And hopefully you guys join me when we do that live. But guys, go ahead and ask me a little bit more questions, because we have about 9 minutes left of this live. I just watched the episode with the mines. Do you know these mines? Yes, I know all, Artem. I know what's been happening, and I know how all the mines in the conflict work. I know how they work, basic systems. But the problem is that he wasn't paying attention, you see. Nobody is paying attention. There has to be somebody in front of him at all times. And metal detectors work wonders. I will be putting, if you are subscribed to this channel, I'm going to be putting the link in our community tab, okay? If you want to see it, it's going to be on our community tab on YouTube, and it's going to be on the Telegram. Yeah, so any more questions, guys? Danny, if you want to see that live, it's going to be on the community tab and on our Telegram. If you're not on our Telegram, join our Telegram as soon as possible. All right, guys. Remember, if you're coming to the Moscow region, I can help you open up a bank account. I can help you bring your money into Russia. I can help you connect your cell phone. I can help you pick you up from the airport, take you to your hotel, book a hotel. We can do so many things now. I recently started doing these things for tourists because the people in Moscow were charging arm and a leg. I will give the time as soon as I can, but it's gonna be at a good time. I don't think it's gonna be at a bad time. It's gonna be about this same time, brother. It's gonna be about the same time right now. I need information about what you earn as a truck driver for working in logistics. Ibre, I will try to look for that. I will try to find the amount of money you can earn for those types of jobs in the future. I've been looking at Krasnodar, Anapa, Sochi, and even Moscow. If Moscow, I'm looking at those 130K USD homes. Nice. Okay, you can totally do it. And again, don't worry about age, bro. I didn't want to bring it up, but you shouldn't bring up the age thing. I know you can come and find a wife or a girlfriend in Russia. Look at me. Look at me. It's all about confidence. It's all about confidence, baby. I'm a fat man. I have ugly face. People say I look like Zelensky, so I have an ugly face. It's all about attitude, okay, brother? Post a video about how to behave if you see a landmine. Yeah, it's very simple, man. If you have a metal detector, it's very simple how to deal with landmines. I'll probably do that in the future on another channel. Kaylee, I told you the last video I made, Kaylee. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, Kaylee. But I made a video. If you sell your Western home, you can retire in Russia for the rest of your life. Jesus, Steve. A lot of people would get angry for what you said, but I thank you. From Belgium, a Russian-friendly man from a not Russian-friendly country. Very interesting, Dan. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for the compliments here. So yeah, I don't know Russian culture of what is acceptable or not. Brother, in Russia, you don't have to change. You don't have to try to change. Russia molds you into what you need to be. You don't have to worry about that, my friend. You don't have to worry about if you fit in, if you will assimilate. Russian culture grabs you and just does it for you. It's like autopilot. Customs, I could not find, bring Russia. Can you pay customs? How much? So look, if you gonna come to Russia, contact me. I can help you with the money problem, okay? You don't have to worry about it. You can bring up to $10,000 and you have to declare it. But, you know, save yourself the trouble. Save yourself you don't have to be nervous, you know. Actually, now this +1 thing is really annoying. Wait, who are we talking about? The Green Lunatic. Are you guys talking about the Green Goblin? If you guys are talking about the Green Goblin, aka Zelensky, if you're a member, you're supposed to spam the Green Goblin Zelenskys. Look, we have an emoji for the Green Goblin. So if anybody's ever referring to Zelensky, it's this. So my connection is really, really bad now. And it's time for me to hit the road. Listen, thank you so much for joining me on this live. Watch my most recent videos. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for everybody who donated this stream. You guys keep the lights on here. Thanks for everybody who subscribed, came in writing on the bear. Thanks for everybody who became a member this stream. Really, really cool. Here, this is how it looks like when you become a member. And you can use those emojis. You get claps by President Vladimir Putin. It's freaking classic, man. So yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Join the Russian experience. I can help you with transferring money, going from the airport to your hotel. I can book hotels for you. I can